Dr. Laskar, can you just switch on your video as well? We are about to now begin with the sessions. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Policy Perspectives Foundation, I'm Manika. Warmly welcome you all to today's Dareecha program. For those who are joining us for the first time, Dareecha is an initiative of PPF that provides a forum for dialogue and deliberation on social, political, and development issues of contemporary relevance. Through this platform, we invite scholars, researchers, grassroots activists, journalists, and thought leaders to share perspectives, foster meaningful conversations, and collectively build a deeper understanding of the issues that concern us as a society. At PPF, we believe that dialogue is the essence of democracy, and with the Richa, we aim to create a space where diverse voices can engage constructively and help shape fresh ways of thinking. The theme of today's program is Contours of Change in Nepal, Implications of India and the Region. Today's theme is both timely and significant. Nepal, as our closest neighbor with deep historical, cultural, and socio political linkages, has been undergoing important transformation in the recent years and has recently witnessed widespread protest, reflecting deep discontent amongst its people on issues ranging from governance to livelihood concerns. These demonstrations point to the underlying challenges in the Nepal's political stability and development trajectory. Given our shared geography with the region, history, and close socio-cultural ties, such developments naturally draw India's attention. So it therefore becomes important not only to understand the immediate triggers behind these protests, but also to explore their broader implication for Nepal's democracy, for India-Nepal relations, and for the region as a whole. So, what do these changes mean for our neighborhood policy, and how do they impact cooperation, security, and people to people ties? These are some of the questions we seek to reflect upon today. To help us navigate the subject, we are privileged to have with us Dr. Nazmul Hussain Laskar, Assistant Professor and Head Department of Political Science, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Government Model College, Assam. He has authored 2 books, edited 11 volumes, and contributed extensively with over 35 research papers and 20 book chapters. A recipient of several awards, Dr. Laskar has presented widely in national and international forums and is an active member of reputed professional bodies such as IPSA, BIPS, and IHC. Given his close understanding of the subject, his expertise will provide us with valuable insights into the domestic currents within Nepal and its external ramifications. So, a very welcome to you, Dr. Laskar. So, before asking you to begin, I would just quickly request the participants to share your questions and observations, if any, only in the chat box during the presentation, and we will take the questions up after the presentation in the discussion round. With that, I now hand over the platform to Dr. Laskar. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah.
So would you be putting up your PPT on the screen, or
Yeah,
would
yeah.
you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you do for me?
You want me to upload the PPT? I'll do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you see a green, because if you're not
Yeah.
like,
I can also share from my side also, no issue.
there's
Okay.
this
Okay.
share button.
Yeah. Let me try from my side. Okay.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Good evening to all. At the very outset, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Policy Perspective Foundation for organizing this event and inviting me to share my views and ideas, especially the title, the topic that you have chosen. It's very timely and relevant topic for all of us. As you know that Nepal is not only our neighbor, but it's our friend. And once Bajpayee, our then Prime Minister of India, he said that you can change your friends, but not neighbors. So this is a remarkable statement made by the then Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Bajpayee. So Nepal is not only our neighbor, but is a close friend of India. So let me share my presentations. I thought this would be an interactive session that would be helpful for all of us. Let me share my PPTs. Just a second. Is it okay?
Yeah, visible, yes.
Yeah. So today's topic for discussion is counter of change in Nepal, implications for India and the region. You see this slide. The goal of life is not merely to live, but to live well, Aristotle. Why I have chosen this slide? Why I am quoting this slide? What Aristotle said, that the goal of life is not merely to live, but to live well. This line or this quotation signifies the importance of dignity in our life. Can anyone from the audience tell me which is the most precious thing in our life?
I think freedom.
Freedom. Okay, very good. Nurul Hassan Mazumdar. Any other response? Which is the most precious thing in our life?
Somebody in the chat box has mentioned right to life.
Right to life. Okay, very good. Generally, when I put these questions in any occasion or in any program, what response comes from the audience? Money, health, education, knowledge, wisdom, blah, blah. Okay. But friends, be sure that money, education, knowledge, all these things are essential, but these are not most essential. We can live without money. We can live without education also.
Self-respect.
Pardon, sir? Sir, you want to say something? Rao, sir? Okay.
No. Self-respect.
Okay. Self-respect. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah. So, life is most precious. All these things are necessary. But if we do not survive, what is the use of all these things? Life is more precious than all other things. But there is something which is more precious than life also. People are ready to sacrifice their life for that thing, which is more precious than life also. That is called dignity. That is called status. That is called recognition. If we see the background of Gen Z movement in Nepal, what do we find? Youth came out on the street, not only because of that banning or restriction of social media. Social media, yes, undoubtedly it is a cause. But an important factor for the outbreak of this Gen Z movement in Nepal is the loss of dignity, loss of self-esteem, loss of self-respect. Many youths, especially Gen Zs, those who belong to Gen Z, They have lost their dignity. It is said that, and it is also found that many Nepalese youths are being treated as second-class citizens. So the root of this Gen Z movement lies in various factors. An important factor is the lack of respect, lack of dignity. And this is the basic crux of my present discussion and presentation. Just I have considered, or I thought that a few students of our institutions also may join this program. That's why I have tried from a general understanding of about Gen Z. Gen Z is nothing but 13 to 8 years old. This is roughly. Individual or people who born roughly from 1997 to 2012. This period can be considered as the Gen Z. Those who belong to that period, those who born during this period, they can be considered as Gen Z. What are the basic traits of Gen Z population? Number one, they are digital natives. They are digitally very much sound. They are digitally too much literate. They are very advanced in terms of social media, internet, and other digital gadgets. They are even much more advanced than us. Another important trait of Gen Z population is global awareness. They are very much aware about what is happening abroad. That's why we have found almost like similar kind of incidents in we have witnessed in Sri Lanka, then in Bangladesh, then now in Nepal. It is because of the reason that this Gen Z population, or more particularly youths of the present generation, they are very much aware about the globe. They do not confine, or their ideas do not confine in the four walls of a country. And an important feature of this Gen Z population is financially they are very much prudent. They are shareholders. They are investing in share markets. They are financially too much literate. They know pros and cons about financial status, financial condition of a nation. Simply by making campaigns and propaganda, you cannot mislead the youths. And it clearly revealed in the Nepal incidents. Gen Z movement in Nepal, the most common reason for this movement, or the most immediate reason, is the ban on social media platforms. But there is a long story behind this movement. This is only the immediate cause of the Nepal movement or Gen Z movement in Nepal. But this is not the total cause of these incidents. Why government ban this social media? Can anyone from the audience? What was the intention of the government behind this banning of social media, social platforms? Please response from the audience. I like interactive session. Otherwise, it becomes very much monotonous.
You can also share your answers in the chat box if you don't want to unmute and speak.
Yeah. What is your common understanding? I don't expect any technical reply. What is your common understanding? Why government put ban on social media and social platforms? What propelled the government, Nepal government, to ban social platforms, social media platforms? Okay, as I am not getting any response, so let me reply. The main argument or the government's intention is to curb the movement. It is not only that, even before this social media, banning of social media platforms, Nepal youths, they came on the street in huge numbers since last 1 month, 50, 20 to 30 days. Even if you see the one speech of one youth he delivered in the last year in one annual festival of an institution, education institution, that speech was very much fiery. And that speech also indicated what is going to happen in Nepal soon. From that speech of a youth in Nepal student, we got the clear repercussion, or we got the clear message that what will be going to happen in Nepal very soon. Realizing the youth power, realizing the importance of youth power and unity among the youth, government thought that it is the best strategy or best way to curb the movement, to curb the youth movement, is to put ban on social media and social platforms. Because social media and social platforms is a device, is a platform that unites the youth through digital network. Here lies the importance of digital network. Digital network is a platform that unites anyone and everyone in a fraction of a second. Just you see, in this platform, we have joined across the country. This is the biggest advantage of digital network. So government realized that to curb the youth movement in Nepal, the best strategy is to put ban on social media and social platforms. Yes, and this is the immediate cause of Gen Z movement in Nepal. But there are many hidden causes are there. Why youth came out on the street? An important cause is fight for dignity. As I told, that youth lost their prestige. Youths are considered, especially Nepalese youths, are treated as second-class citizens, especially those who are in power, elite class, ministers. They send their children abroad for higher education. And their counterparts, Nepalese youths, are treated as second-class citizens. They fought for survival. Your house is at stake when your neighbor's house is in flame. There is a saying like that. Your house is at stake when your neighbor's house is in flame. So Nepalese people, they found that the existing government or the system and the nature of governance totally and miserably failed to address their basic needs. They lost hope on the existing government, style and functioning of the government. Otherwise, we know that how Nepal got and how Nepal formed this democratic form of government after a long struggle. And Nepalese constitution is one of the best constitutions in the world. There is no doubt about the features of Nepal's constitution. There is no doubt about the forms of government that Nepal practiced. But where problem lies? Problem lies in the practical working of the Nepalese government. An important reason is the failure of internal democracy in Nepal. So these are the three vital causes that led to the Nepalese youth to came on the street on large numbers, and that resulted and culminated into massacre. You see this picture, how youths came out on the street, unbelievable, unparalleled. It totally unmasked the failure of the government in all aspects of their life. Yes, what is democracy? What is our common understanding of democracy? Simply, we believe that democracy is a form of government run by the people, for the people, by the people, of the people, for the people, and by the people. Our common understanding that democracy is a very peaceful form of government. It is a government that believes in 4 Ds: debates, discussions, dialogue, dissensions. When you talk about democracy, what comes in our mind? What is the image of democracy before us? The image of democracy is that democracy means scientific. Democracy means peaceful. Democracy means institutional. Democracy means constitutional. Democracy means rule of law. Democracy means debates, dissensions, disagreement, dialogue. But democracy has another shape also. Sometimes it turns or it takes the shape of Kali. Our common image is democracy means Durga, rule of law, morality, institution, peaceful, law and order. But democracy sometimes takes the shape of Kali. That is, that it represents desperate, anarchy, violent. When democracy takes the image of Kali, when Durga fails, or when a democratic setup or democratic system, democratic functioning of the government fails to address the issues of the people, it takes the violent form. And that happened in Nepal. What is the impact of ban on social media? As per the report of Human Rights Forum Nepal, I am not taking any government report. Rather, I prefer to take the reports from Human Rights Forum Nepal. To me, this is much more reliable than the so-called government's report. As per the report that came out, Nepal 350 injured, 1,200 people detained in the last 1 week. Even only in Kathmandu, 50,000 people, they came on street on regular basis, on daily basis. How this ban, social media ban, affect the lives of the Nepalese? Nowadays, social media is not only a platform to connect people, rather it is an important source of business. It attacked their livelihood. It is reported that 95% people, they use internet. 3 crores population of Nepal, they use internet. 35% youths, they depend on digital economy, freelance work, content creation, online business, and transaction with overseas friends, relatives. So ban on social media, social platform negatively affected their lives. And when they felt that their lives is at stake, they became restless. They became hesitant. They could not bother anything. Rather, they fought for change. This is the report that I have taken from National Economic Forum Nepal. Change in Nepal. Why? Why people ask for change? Is it only because of the banning of social media? No. Number one reason is extreme leftism. Anything extreme is bad, be it rightist or leftist. What we have witnessed in Bangladesh, extreme rightist tendency that led to the revolt in Bangladesh last year. So extremism is an important cause. Why fascism and Nazism did not survive long? It is only because of the extreme nature of the government. Nationalism is good as long as it remains as sane and sensible nationalism. Hitler's and Mussolini's nationalism that we have witnessed in Germany and Italy, these were very good. There is no doubt about that. But when it became extremist or extreme form of nationalism, it turns into bad. So an important cause is extreme leftism in Nepal. Nepal's premier, he wanted to play the role of Jinping. He fails to understand his position and just started copying Chinese premier, Chinese president. He wanted to create the image of Chinese president in Nepal, which is next to impossible. Where is China and where is Nepal? You have to see your socio-economic military condition. You have to see your geostrategic location. You have to understand your political position in the international field. Without considering all these things, he just tried to imitate Chinese president. Next factor is non-incumbency. That I told, the total failure of the system, democratic system in Nepal, total collapse of the government, huge unemployment, poverty, illiteracy, whatnot. Youths became jobless. 4,000 youths, they leave Nepal daily through passport, excluding people who are moving in India. Because in India, Nepalis, they do not need passport. Daily basis, it is estimated that around 4,000 the youth, they leave the country only for job, excluding India. If I include India, it would cross more than 10 to 15,000. Corruption became very much rampant, misappropriation of public purse. And that became very much evident when people resented against the ministers, especially finance minister. How people resented against them. These things are clear indication of the deprivation of the Nepalese people from the basic service from the part of the government. How public money, how public purse has been misappropriated. Using public offices, using public services, using public money for personal gain, for private gain. That led the youth to become hesitant. Royal lifestyle of ministers and bureaucrats. We have noticed huge difference in the standard of living of the people, common people and elite class, especially ministers and bureaucrats. They are living a luxurious life, whereas around 30 to 40% people, they fail to manage their common needs. They are living below the poverty line. If a government ignores the basic needs of around 40% population, how we can expect the survival of that government? It is reported and estimated that around 40% people, they fail to manage 2 square meals in a day. Horrible condition. Ban on social media, I have already discussed. Low per capita income. Probably this is the lowest in South Asia. In India, it is around 3,000, more than 3,000 per capita income. Whereas Nepal, it is US $1,460 in 2025. Price of essential commodities is skyrocketing. People lost their purchasing power. Even middle class people also. Survival becomes challenging for them. Forget about the lower class and below poverty line people. Middle class people, they also fail to manage their life. They also fail to manage the standard cost of living. Over dependence on China, as I told. An increase of China's investment on infrastructure and economy. As we all know that China is basically a land-hungry nation. They are very much hungry for land. And China considers this an opportunity. And this Nepalese government, although it is a democratic form of government, but they are giving rooms to communist Chinese government. Democracy and one-party dictatorship cannot go hand in hand. Nepalese government fails to understand this reality. On the one hand, government tries to establish democracy. On the other hand, government is blindly following one-party dictatorship system that prevail in China. And too much dependency on Chinese government without considering the pros and cons is really disastrous. It really became havoc for them. Now let me switch over to the next part of my presentation. Implications for India and this region, especially Southeast Asian region. What would be the effect of this Genji movement in Nepal or counter of change in Nepal? We cannot and should not ignore the happenings in Nepal. As I told that one can change his friends, but not neighbors. Nepal is our historical friend. Number one. Number two, Nepal is our neighbor, most close neighbor. Border between Nepal and India is called borderless border. Probably it is the most loose border in the world. Indo-Nepal border is the most loose border in the world. It is said that borderless border. So as a friend, as well as our immediate neighbor, we cannot ignore the happenings in Nepal. From geopolitical angle, it undoubtedly created pressure on India. China will try to grab this opportunity. China, along with Pakistan, may try to grab this opportunity and create a new power equilibrium in the region that may challenge India's regional stability and integrity. China and Pakistan, they are looking to grab this opportunity. And it will certainly hamper our stability. Because China may try to maximize its influence in Indo-China border areas. It will affect the peace and stability in South Asia, especially for India's diplomatic and economic interest. Because in this Southeast Asian region, India is a leading player. India is a key player. If India wants to establish her hegemony in the Southeast region, there must be peace and stability. So for diplomatic and economic interest, this peace and stability is needed in the region, especially in South Asian region. Both in terms of economically and militarily, India is the biggest and strongest power in the region. So at any cost, India should try to ensure peace and stability in the region for our own interest, for our own economic and strategic interest. These incidents in Nepal or this change in Nepal will certainly affect Indo-Nepal trade relations also. Because Nepal is our business partner. India imports not only hydroelectric power, India also imports huge quantity of agricultural products. And at the same time, India exports medicines, foods, and fuels. So this disturbance, this anarchy will certainly affect our trade relations also. It will negatively affect Indo-Nepal business and trade relations. It will affect our import-export business also. And the immediate ramification, immediate implication is tourism sector. This is the sector that gives huge profit to both India and Nepal. It will affect tourist inflows in India also, and vice versa. Nepal is also a very, what should I say, a place for tourist attraction. So in this disturbance or in this chaotic situation, people generally, they will not move to Nepal. It will affect our tourism sector also. Another important ramification is loose border with Nepal. It will also affect our borders also. It is a challenging for border security issue also, because movement of Nepalis and Indians through border is very easy and very loose and fragile. So considering this fragile and loose border, there is every possibility of shifting the matter in India also, especially in this age, in this digital age. It is very easy to spread this kind of incidents in our country also. So our border people who are working on border, they should be very much vigilant and watchful. Otherwise, it may spread in India. There is no certainty about that, because our 5 states, we have 5 bordering states: Uttarakhand, Bihar, UP, Sikkim, West Bengal. Very loose borders. There is every possibility of the rise of smuggling, insurgency issues, and crimes also. So our border people should be very much watchful to curb this menace of smuggling, insurgency, and crime through this loose border, because this is the time where people will try to find out some alternative, some sorts of disturbance. They will try to create disturbance in the neighboring countries, also in the neighboring place. Many Nepalese, they are in a plan to escape Nepal. So it may increase the case of smuggling and insurgency issues also. It may transfer in our country also. We should be very much careful about it. Due to the present this political instability, there is every possibility of the rise of Chinese influence on Kathmandu government. In the name of help, China can intervene in domestic affairs of Nepal. That may hinder the relationship, Indo-Nepal relationship also. More the China will try to become closer to Nepal, it will adversely affect Indo-Nepal relations. China's wants of inclusion of Nepal under Belt Road Initiative. This is a great initiative. The basic intention of this Belt Road Initiative is to stitch China closer to the world through infrastructure and investments, which is really alarming for India. Recently, China, they're planning to consider Nepal under this Belt and Road Initiative, BRI initiative. This is a gigantic initiative taken by China. This is an initiative through which China wants to become closer to the world. China wants to integrate with the world, especially through infrastructure and investments. So if Nepal comes under this Belt and Road Initiative, really it is alarming and concerning issue for India also. Moreover, China's eyes, especially on the chicken neck corridor, that is we call Siliguri corridor. China is very much watchful and looking to grab this chicken neck corridor, Siliguri corridor. Siliguri corridor is the only corridor that connects our Northeast India with the rest of the country. If somehow China grabs, or if somehow China takes this chicken neck corridor advantage of this situation, it will affect the relationship between India and Northeast India. It will totally disconnect Northeast India. The 7 sisters of Northeast India is connected with the rest of the country only through this chicken neck corridor, that is Siliguri corridor. China is very much watchful to take this advantage. There are some other implications of this contour of change in Nepal. One is the refugee problem, or I mean infiltration problem, because many Nepalis, they are working in India. They are also there in our defense sectors of Gurkha regiment. Gurkha regiment is full of Nepalis. Many students are there studying in India. Many businessmen are there. Many Nepalis, they are doing business in India. So it may lead to infiltration and refugee problem also. It will create crisis in our economy also. another important cause or another important implication is that huge Gen Z population in India. India is the one of the youngest nation in the world. And just like Nepal, we are also facing some similar issues like unemployment, part-time job, political distance, digital divide, inequality, huge inequality that we do also find in India also. And inequality is an important cause for the outbreak of any kind of revolution across the globe. Even in ancient Greece, what Aristotle, he talked about the causes of revolution. When Aristotle explained through his theory of revolution, he said that inequality is the root cause of all revolutions. And he considered inequality is the general cause of revolution, irrespective of the nature of government, irrespective of the forms of government, irrespective of the condition of the country. So in India also, we find gross inequality, huge unemployment. Although jobs are there in private sector, but we notice part-time jobs. Youths are restless in India also. So almost like similar kind of Nepal in India also persist. So it is also a clear implication that there is little bit chance of this kind of agitation or outbreak or movement in India also. We cannot and should not totally ignore this. So what we can draw, what we can infer from this discussion, what would be our concluding remarks? That political instability in Nepal will not only affect Indo-Nepal relations, but it will certainly hinder the process of peace, progress, and prosperity in South Asian region. The ramification or the impact of the contour of change in Nepal or change in Nepal will not only confine in India and Nepal, it will not only affect Indo-Nepal relations, but it has many far-reaching consequences. It will certainly disturb the process of peace, progress, and prosperity in this South Asian region. So India should play a proactive role and try to negotiate the issue at the earliest. India cannot cure, but India can care. Being a strong, powerful neighbor country, India cannot cure, but India can care. This should be our take-home message from this discussion. India cannot cure, but India can care. India should take an active and dominant role to resolve and to negotiate the issue as soon as possible for her economic, for her political, for her greater interest. Especially if India tries to continue her dominance, or if India tries to maintain her hegemony in the Southeast Asian region, India should take proactive step to bring the issue resolved at the earliest. The Nepal crisis is not only a crisis in our neighboring state, but it has far-reaching impact and can certainly affect our border security, our geopolitical balance, and economic interest of our country also. Considering all these implications, but I believe that India should jump over the issue, or although it is a domestic affair of Nepal, but India should take some proactive step in this regard for her own interest. With these remarks, once again, I thank all the participants, and I expect and welcome your observation, your questions, your queries on this discussion. Over to Monica.
Thank you so much, Dr. Laskar, for your thoughtful presentation. You have not only unpacked the complexities of Nepal's evolving political landscape, but also highlighted the implications, broader implications for India in a very insightful and a very balanced manner. So, as you've said, we can now take up the questions. We have some questions in the chat box, so I'll read them out for you one by one, and we can take up the questions now. Just a minute. So the first question is, how is this Gen Z movement going to impact Nepal's governance structure? Which you have partially covered in your presentation, but if you would just want to like to respond.
Yeah. Although I have covered,
Hmm.
but as someone asked this question, so let me speak something on this one. You see, Gen Z movement will bring a substantial change in Nepal. It may take some time, but the way this movement started, this is actually basically a people's movement. We cannot and should not compare with the happenings in Bangladesh, although there are many similarities. But Gen Z movement is totally different types of movement. The intention of Gen Z movement is to bring radical change in Nepal, is to bring peace, progress, and prosperity in Nepal, is to ensure peace, progress, and prosperity, is to ensure job and employability to the youths of Nepal. For our discussion, we can compare with Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. But practically speaking, Gen Z movement is totally different than the way movement happened in Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. And I am very much optimistic and hopeful that the way this Gen Z movement or the momentum that has been created by this movement, if it continues or if it goes in the same momentum, it will certainly bring a change in the Nepalese society. It will transform Nepalese system of governance. What I believe, what is my own understanding.
Right. We can now move on to the next question, which says, what lessons should India draw from the way Nepal's political developments are unfolding, particularly in managing its own border state sensitivities?
Yes. This is very, what should I say, very good question. Yeah. Indian government should take a lesson from these incidents. In one side, we find the restlessness among the youth. On the other side, we see the nature of movement that occurred in Nepal. Considering these two things, government should take a lesson from it. What lesson we can draw from there? That if a group of people or if huge number of people are being ignored, then there is every possibility of revolution, or then there is every possibility of agitation. No government, be it democratic, undemocratic, even now also monarchical countries, suppose Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries, they are also following democratic principles. Even some monarchical countries, they are adopting democratic principle even much more better than many South Asian democratic countries. Personally, I visited some Gulf countries, especially UAE. You visit UAE, you see the functioning of UAE government. There is full liberty, full autonomy. There is huge scope for business. There is huge job opportunity. Government is very much liberal. The government is very much pro people centric government. So not only youth, but we should address the issue of inequality, unemployment, and more importantly, dignity. When you consider a section of citizen as second-class citizen, when you consider a certain section of people as marginalized, though their number may be small, but it can create a big resentment within the country, especially in the age of digital age. As I told, that internet is a platform that unites people within a second. So Indian government should take lesson from it, especially the system of governance.
Right. Thank you. With that, next question. How might prolonged instability in Nepal affect India's strategic positioning in South Asia vis-a-vis China's Belt and Road Initiative? You also touched upon this aspect, but if you'd like to take it up.
Already I have covered, and I told that any sorts of instability, as I told that justice anywhere, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We have to accept this fact. Your own house or your own home is at stake when your neighbor's house is in flame. Instability in Nepal, it directly affects India's economy, it directly affects India's other sectors also, because India is the key player, India is the leading player in this region. So at any cost, India should ensure peace and stability in the region for maintaining her economic and other political interest.
So this is the second last question. Given China's growing infrastructure and political influence in Nepal, how can India maintain its traditional leverage without appearing as an interventionist?
Please repeat this question.
Given China's growing infrastructure and political influence in Nepal, how can India maintain its traditional leverage without appearing interventionist?
India has a lot of opportunities to maintain her historic relationships. As we see that in terms of religion also, there is a very close affinity with Nepalese. Even many Nepalese, they are having relationship with Indians, their neighbors, their friends, their relatives, they are living in India. Would you get my point? China, whatever relationship China is tying, this type of relationship is some sorts of artificial relationship, but India's relationship is quite natural. If we see or if we study Kautilya's Arthashastra, he talked about two types of allies, two types of friends. Kitrim, one is Kitrim and one is natural, Sahaja. So India's relationship or Nepal's relationship is not Kitrim, not artificial. And artificial relationship generally does not last long. A certain point of time, if suppose through this Gen Z movement, lot of changes will happen. Just you wait and watch. I do believe that India's historical relationship, India's natural relationship, in terms of Kautilya, he said Kitrim and Sahaja. So India's relationship is not Kitrim. India's relationship is Sahaja relationship, natural relationship, natural ally will sustain in the long term. That is my conviction.
Very precisely explained, Dr. Laskar. I would now move on to the last question. Okay, we have another one. So we have two more questions. Do you think any external forces precipitated this movement in Nepal? This is.
This is a very tough question right at the moment. To answer this
But
question,
your perspective, do you think that?
This is not the right time to make any comment on this question. Just please wait and watch. I am also very much curious to being a social scientist, being a teacher of social science. I am also curious to know this answer, but this is not the right time to respond. Okay, please wait.
Yeah. The last question is, how do you assess the potential of India and China competing or collaborating in stabilizing Nepal's political situation? This also you have covered. If you would like to add something?
No, it's okay. I have already discussed a lot
You
about
have
this.
already covered this question, right?
Running short of
So,
time.
so we have taken up all the questions. With this, we conclude today's Dareecha session, and on behalf of PPF, I would like to again thank Dr. Laskar for his insightful presentation and also the participants for their active involvement and for enriching today's conversation with such pertinent questions and reflections. And we hope to see you all again next month when we return with another theme of contemporary importance. And thank you again, Dr. Laskar. A very happy and have a good evening. And until next time, stay engaged and keep the dialogue alive. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.